Congressman Adam Schiff of Burbank will be among the speakers at this protest. He's also the ranking member, top Democrat of the House Intelligence Committee. Welcome back, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you. Great to be with you.
Let's talk about this this march and the 102nd anniversary of Armenian Genocide. A lot of people still don't know about this. Tell us about the march first.
Well, and this is why the march is so important. We expect there'll be tens of thousands of people. Indeed, for the 100th commemoration, there were about 160,000 people who turned out in the streets of Los Angeles. Yeah. But this was genocide that took place between 1915 and 1923. 1.5 million Armenian men, women, and children were annihilated in an effort to exterminate an entire race. Hitler famously said, "Who remembers the Armenians?" And this is really the call to action. We all need to understand what took place in this genocide and every other, and we need to speak out about it. Unfortunately, today we got yet another disappointing statement from yet another president without recognition of the genocide, without using the word genocide, which is the right word for what took place. President Trump now becomes one of a long line of succession of presidents unwilling to confront Turkey, and I think we're not living up to our moral responsibility.
Changing gears with you this morning, the House Intelligence Committee investigating Russia's interference into the 2016 election back on track with a new chairman, Republican Mike Conway of Texas. What is the latest?
Well, I think we're off to a good reset. Mike, I think, is a very serious guy. We've had a number of conversations since he took the reins on the GOP side of the investigation. We have rescheduled the hearing with Director Comey and Director Rogers of the FBI and the NSA in closed session, and we are in the process of rescheduling that very important open hearing with Sally Yates from the Justice Department. She'll have, I think, a lot to say about what led up to the firing of Michael Flynn, but also former director of the CIA, Brennan, and former director Clapper, the head of all the intelligence agencies. They'll share in open session what they know about Russia's involvement in our election. These open hearings, I think, are really important to keep the country up to date on what we're doing, on what the Russians did. We can't simply, I think, meet in closed session for months and months and then throw open the doors and issue a report if we expect the public to accept the conclusions we reach.
Well, to that end, I mean, Chairman Nunes certainly took a lot of criticism and stepped aside for his conversations with the White House that were sort of offline from the Intelligence Committee. All of you have taken criticism on the House side for the way this investigation has gone. Some have suggested that you should step aside, that it's become too partisan. What do you say to that?
Well, the problem that we had in the committee is the one that you mentioned. We had a chairman who went to an undisclosed location, purportedly received information, and then went back to the White House to present it. We later learned that, in fact, the information he got came from the White House, and the White House was effectively laundering information through our chairman. That was the problem we had with the committee. It wasn't with me or with the other members of the committee, and indeed, I think all the members of the committee, apart from that very notable and troubling incident, are quite serious about the investigation. And so now we have a reset of it. I think that's very positive, and we go forward. But it was, you know, those actions of our chair that really caused the disrepute of the committee. I think the rest of us, Democrats and Republicans, are quite serious about what we're undertaking.
A possible government shutdown is looming. What do you think about President Trump's offer to barter with Democrats for payments for Obamacare in exchange for taxpayer money in order to build his southern wall?
It's a complete non-starter. And the fact that the President of the United States would essentially threaten the health care of millions of people if he doesn't get money for his wall, a wall, by the way, which he said Mexico was going to pay for, is a complete non-starter for the whole country. It's just not going to fly. Democrats aren't going to put up money for this bad idea. And what's more, the president needs to live up to his campaign promises, and if he can't, he needs to step up and admit it. Mexico is never going to pay for this wall, nor should they. It's a bad idea for Mexico, and it's a bad idea for the United States. So I hope he thinks better of it in the next few days.
And are you willing to go to a government shutdown to make that point?
Well, the Republicans control everything, so they have the votes to keep the government open, and they have the responsibility. When we saw the health care proposal fail, there were a couple, I think, quite humorous moments where the president tried to blame Democrats. We don't control anything in the Congress. They have the House, they have the Senate, and they have the White House. And it's no longer enough for them to blame Obama for things or blame the Democrats for things. They have been trusted by the country with running the government, and they're going to have to come up with the votes to keep that government open. Now, what we have said is we'll pass a clean bill to keep things running. But we're not going to fund things like a wall that make no sense for the country.
Congressman Adam Schiff, thanks so much for being here with us
You bet.
this morning.
Thank you.